have a great day. We had a great primary live trade brief this morning. Did my strategic and operational brief for about 30 minutes. Got tactical with a portfolio review and added a new bull put spread. Trying to add a new bull put spread on Amazon, which we'll take a look here in a couple seconds. Let me go down to 65 cents, and I'll cover that in a couple minutes. But like I said, good session. Strategically, China, good article in the journal today about best performing stocks. Look to China for Asia's best performing stocks. Bank of Japan Governor Kuroda and Abe still wandering around in their 20-year, desert of financial lacklusterness. But China, our FXI positions looking really good. Obviously the threat. Trump's a negotiator, which means he's going to come in and blast away at his opening. You don't come in at where you're going to be in the middle. You start with, I'm going to, assign you as a currency manipulator, and then I'm going to blah, blah, blah. And that freaked everybody out initially. Now, the danger with China ain't necessarily a cold economic war. It's maybe a war, like heated. Just like the EP3 collision from 2002, 2003, when one of their fighters flew way too close, got eaten in a propeller. Aviation's a self-cleaning oven, so that dude deserved to die that day. But that EP3 landed in China. And what I'm saying is things can go bump in the night. If you didn't watch Rex Tillerson's confirmation hearing for Secretary of State, you obviously have a life, and I don't. But he said them bringing Chinese dirt out to low tide in the middle of the Pacific and building an atoll, a runway 600 miles from China ain't China. We're not going to let that stand, and they're not going to have access to those islands. Those are fighting words. Chinese foreign minister the other day, I got a suggestion for my American friends. Brush up on the history of World War II. So the danger, I think, with China isn't necessarily is that economic war, although that might happen. It's a no-kidding war. But we had a good weekly options brief yesterday. And why was it good? Well, you didn't put on a weekly options trade, Wiz. Yeah, I know, because I briefed you for 30 minutes on why we're going to wallow this week. I might put one on today. Now I might take a look at a bull put spread because we're not really rolling over. We're hanging on Yellen right now. She's doing her Humphrey Hawkins testimony. Tuesday, she speaks to it's annual. She speaks to the Senate. She's in front of the Senate right now. And then she walks down the hallway tomorrow and talks to Congress. It's interesting that she's talking today because wholesale inventories or wholesale inflation came in biggest monthly gain in 4 years. It's a little bullish for some rate hikes, okay? So the financials are looking good today. The overall market is wallowing, but the financials are Goldman Sachs position, which is just absolutely printing money. So one of my members was up $135,000 on 20 contracts. My Goldman Sachs trades from a month and a half ago is up over 11 grand. You guys saw me put this on, and a week later it was up 5 grand. This will be if Goldman Sachs keeps performing the way I performed by the time I close this in Jan of 19, this will be a $35,000 to $40,000 trade. Take that one and bank it. This trade's been on a month. This is the newer Goldman Sachs long call diagonal. We're averaging $2,000, a little more than $2,000 a month in these Goldman Sachs trades, and I would do them again today. You have a Goldman Sachs put under these trades. 2 cabinet members and 2 senior folks in the cabinet. Goldman Sachs, where you should be. But the reason, if Janet can get away with 2 to 3 increases this year, the market's going to slow down a little bit. Remember, when interest rates are high, stocks will die. Interest rates are low, stocks will, you got it, grow. That doesn't work for every stock. The exception to that little whizzism is our financials. Remember, interest rates going up is great for financial stocks. Now they can give you they can hang a CD, open a 10-year CD at actually an interest rate that isn't stupid, and you get your free backpack. So rising interest rates are going to help our financial positions. I've been saying this. We've been right on this. We've been right on. I said get long Goldman Sachs and the financials here, and there they go, crushing it, having a blast. A lot of macroeconomic data flying around, but I think the biggest thing really is, the market kind of waiting to see what Jana has to say. I've been in the primary live trade brief, so I'm going to have to read her comments and see if there's anything really market moving ish. But just watching the market as we were doing our live trade brief, she's not saying anything that's nuts. So tomorrow's a kind of a big day macroeconomically. Some more inflation, retail sales, and core. Remember, when you see the word core, it means X something. That's X autos, and then obviously total retail sales. The cap rate, Empire Fed, industrial production. She continues her Humphrey Hawkins testimony, business inventories, oil, and a couple Fed lieutenants speaking. Dudley and Harker. Big day tomorrow macroeconomically, folks. That's why I also didn't want to put on any necessarily weekly trades. Is tomorrow, does the market care about this stuff? Or are we still talking about how liberals finally got General Kelly, or what's his name, Scalp? First guy to go out of the Trump administration, big deal. Flynn, Lieutenant General Flynn, great American. Seriously, first of all, I think the biggest question is who was monitoring his phone calls and why? Did they have a FISA warrant to listen, or did this leak out because there are unpatriotic traitors in this administration? There's Twitter feeds, folks, like at Trump. It's a bunch of government employees who hate Trump, who are like trying to undermine his presidency. I ain't kidding you, folks. This gets serious enough, I'd have him shot for treason. Get out of the government if you're not going to work for it, jerks. Where was I going with that? Oh, that tomorrow's a big macroeconomic day, but is a tweet gonna? Any day of the week, folks, a tweet can knock out all this important stuff. Thursday, building permits, a Philly Fed, housing starts, mortgage delinquency. So housing Thursday. ECB policy meeting, might move us if Mario says something interesting, and Friday's dead. So like where we are, like the Amazon bull put spread, I didn't get filled on the one I talked about last week, so I put another one on potentially today. And I like the metrics on it. Let me just show you the trade real quick. Where's Amazon? PLTB. So here's the metrics of it. It's the 820, 817 and a half bull put spread out to March 3rd. I did 30 contracts. Why? I don't want to risk more than $5,000 on any one trade. Where'd you come up with that? 25 years of doing this? That's me. I don't want to risk more than 5% of my model portfolio on any one trade. Now, obviously, it ain't okay for me to lose the max amount. I'll manage it and get out of it, hopefully for not a max loss. But now I can look and say, all right, if I'm okay with that risk, now I can look at max profit and say, wow, 68% probability of making $2,000 in 2 weeks, done. And the break even, there's a 69% probability. So really good looking trade on Amazon. The one I put on last week is all my members were being nice and saying everything looked great in there. So I'm very happy with that. Happy with our Apple positions, with Apple's record run here. My Jan 18 80 calls are up $5,700, but look at my Jan 19 position, up $8,700. And I put this on November, December-ish. Whenever the Jan 19 series came out for Apple, it's up $8,700 since that time. That's a hell of a trade right there, folks. And we sell the front month upside calls. And that tactic's working out great for us as well. So good stuff going on here. We have accelerated retirement tomorrow at 1 o'clock if you're in the accelerated retirement service. And if this is the first time you're hearing me and who the hell is this whiz guy, you need to go to our homepage, topgunoptions.com, and scroll down to the ski slope looking symbols, right? Beginner, intermediate, advanced. If you want to take a 14-day test flight, kick the tires, light the fires. Accelerated retirement, primary, weekly options. It ain't rocket surgery. The most expensive trial, you ready for this, is $38. I'm looking at right now a bottle of Pinot Grigio that it was cheaper than that, Santa Margarita. So if you don't think a bottle of wine for a 2-week trial is worth it, especially when I just showed you an Amazon trade that can make $2,000, which would be the cost of an annual subscription, then don't do it. You're not a good trader if you can't sit here and go $38 to see what this guy does. Done and done. If that's your last $38, folks, don't spend it. Okay? I got to run. Have a great rest of your day. Happy hunting. Make sure you hedge. I'll be back with Wednesday's market SITREP here at TGO.